Reading books is not a personality, it's about transforming yourself. Most of the YouTube has been filled with videos like how to read books. But in the name of those videos, what people are suggesting is they're suggesting a bunch of stationery like use sticky flags, sticky notes. Some are suggesting to drink coffee, maybe water, and some are suggesting to sleep well, and so on. But those are superficial. So in this video, I'm going to share some of the perspective on reading that might actually help you to read better. Point number one is to start with something that really interests you instead of starting with something that has been suggested to you by someone else or just because it is popular. Do your research, make sure you're really interested in the material, and then only start. And that is how you make your reading much more meaningful instead of boring yourself to death. Do not hesitate to drop a book in the middle if you do not find it much relatable, or if you find it boring or it does not hook you properly at that particular time. You can always come back to the book later. Point number two is about tolerance. So once you find out what really interests you, you must actually do the dirty work of reading the books. And the mistake that a lot of people make is to assume that they are going to get it at the first time, but in truth that is never going to happen. The thing with deep books is that you are supposed to reread them. You are supposed to read them over and over again, and the more you read, more of its meaning becomes clear to you. So instead of assuming that you are going to get it at the first read, lower down your expectations and be open to the idea that you are not going to get it at the first time, and read them over and over again. Point number three is about pause. Stop giving yourself goals like 15 pages a day or like 1 hour a day, because for example, you are reading a novel and you are interrupted by your own system. So you are forced to stop at an awkward place or an awkward paragraph of your novel, and when you come back to it later, you are just out of context, you lose all the intensity. And so instead of stopping at a random paragraph, stop maybe after you finish a chapter or maybe a section. So even that requires you to break your own system, you will make your pause eventually much more meaningful. Point number four is about reading less. Sometimes we want to read so many things. Sometimes we want to read this, sometimes we want to read that, and sometimes we want to read all of it together. And in doing so, we have to shift our focus to too many things. And as a result, we have to compromise our depth. So focus more in quality. Reading widely must be balanced out with reading deeply. Otherwise, there is no point in just counting pages. Point number five is about active reading. Do not just read, read actively. Have a conversation with the book, with the author, with the characters. Ask questions, think. Try to find out the answers. Make opinions, judgments, try to criticize the book, but read actively. That is how we build our literary corpus. That is all for this video. This is Honor Bithajra signing off.